If you enjoy this video, help us to continue producing the content you love by subscribing to our channel and pressing the like button.
All right, so get this. Imagine you're known for these like legendary snowball cookies, right? And then poof, you disappear.
Now that's how you hook a listener. We're talking about the strange case of Betty Alexander today. You've provided us with a whole stack of news articles.
And I gotta tell you, even just skimming the headlines had me hooked. Okay, so Betty Alexander vanishes from her apartment back in April 2019. Sullivan, Missouri. Gone. Just like that.
Vanished.
No note. No forwarding address. Just an empty apartment.
Except for a few things that make this case, well, anything but ordinary.
Oh, this is where it gets good. The articles, they lay out those first few days, you know, the family searching, the police going through her apartment, but
Right.
it's what they found, or really didn't find, that's got me scratching my head. Her glasses. They were just sitting there on a recliner. Like, she just got up for a minute.
Yeah, like she's going to come right back.
Exactly. And then there's the fentanyl patch. I mean, those things don't just get up and walk away, do they?
It's not something you just misplace.
Makes you wonder if there's, like, a medical angle here, something they missed.
It's definitely a possibility. The articles don't mention if she had a history of maybe disorientation or confusion. Could she have wandered off? Or maybe someone knew about the medication and...
Oh, now that's an interesting thought. The articles, they don't say if they ever found the fentanyl patch, do they?
They don't, which is a pretty big detail. That could change the whole direction of the investigation.
Okay, and hold on, because then there's the extra $200 in her purse. Now, that's just weird, right? If someone was robbing the place, why not take the cash?
Good point.
It's almost like whoever or whatever made her disappear wanted us to think it was something else, you know?
It does sound like a possible staging, doesn't it? Trying to mislead investigators. But why?
Right. And then, on top of all that, there's the scratch marks.
On the screen door.
Yeah. Almost like someone forced their way in. Makes you think twice about how peaceful this all seemed, right?
Definitely. The articles, they don't give a lot of details about this scratch, but it's something investigators would have looked at closely for sure. Was it new? Did it match any tools?
Oh, many questions.
So many questions.
And speaking of questions, one thing that really got to me reading all this was how frustrated the family was. I mean, it's been 4 years, and they're still searching for answers.
Yeah, and understandably so. Families of missing persons, they often wait years, sometimes decades. Not knowing is a different kind of pain.
It's heartbreaking. You know, it's easy to get caught up in all the clues and the mystery, but these articles, they really paint a picture of Betty's life before she vanished.
It's important to remember that these cases, they always involve real people. And Betty's story, like you said, it's one of family and those little moments that make life worth living.
Exactly. And it's those little things, you know, her love of cooking, the snowball cookies everyone raved about, even making a gourmet meal out of practically nothing, makes you kind of wish you could have had a seat at her table, you know?
It's those everyday details that really remind us what someone meant to the people who love them. The articles talk about how much she loved family gatherings, and it makes you think about everything she's missed. Birthdays, holidays, her great-grandchildren. She never got to meet them.
Oh, man. It's heartbreaking. And it makes you wonder, what if those little details, the cookies, the family dinners, even just the way she kept her apartment, what if those things hold some kind of clue? It sounds strange, I know, but maybe there's something there we're missing.
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes, to understand why someone disappeared, you have to look at their life, their routine, any changes or things that don't quite fit.
Right. Like, one thing that stood out was that Betty, she didn't drive. And no cell phone either. It's like she lived in a different time almost.
And that makes it much harder to trace her steps, to understand where she might have gone or who she might have been with.
You're right. It's like trying to solve a puzzle, but a bunch of pieces are missing. And the pieces we do have, they don't quite make sense.
That's the challenge with these cases, especially when they go unsolved for years. Every detail, you have to wonder, is it a clue or just a coincidence?
And to make matters worse, years go by, memories fade, it gets harder and harder to separate fact from fiction.
Exactly. But even with all that, we can't lose sight of the human element. These articles, they also talk about how the family keeps Betty's memory alive. Like they hang up her apron whenever they bake, especially those snowball cookies.
It's such a small gesture, but so powerful, you know? They're keeping her spirit alive in their own way.
It's a testament to the enduring power of family, of memory. Even in the face of such a profound loss, they find ways to keep her close. It's a good reminder that these cases, They're not just about solving a mystery, they're about real people and the impact their absence has on those left behind.
It's hard to believe we've gone through all this and we still don't know the answer. What happened to Betty Alexander?
The million-dollar question.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've seen, there are plenty of possibilities.
Could she have just, I don't know, decided to walk away, start over somewhere new? People do it.
It happens, yeah. But you have to remember all those details. The glasses, the medication, the cash. It's not the way someone usually starts a new life.
Okay, yeah, good point. So what about an accident? Maybe she got confused, wandered off. We know she didn't drive, and without a cell phone.
It's possible, especially given her age. But they did a lot of searching. You'd think someone would have seen her.
Which kind of leaves us with, well, the possibility that something worse happened. It's not easy to think about.
No, it's not. But the scratch on that door, the missing fentanyl, those details just don't scream simple disappearance. Something just feels off, you know?
And without knowing more about that fentanyl patch, it's hard to ignore the possibility of, well, foul play. Could someone have,
Targeted her? Possibly. Yeah, that's what investigators would want to know. Was the fentanyl just lost? Or was it taken? And if so, why? It's a big question.
It's like this whole case, it's like trying to put a puzzle together in a dark room. We have all these pieces, these weird details, but nothing seems to fit quite right.
And that's the thing with these cases, especially after all this time. It's like trying to separate fact from fiction. Which details matter and which ones are just distractions.
Make you wonder if we'll ever really know what happened to her.
Well, you never know. Sometimes new information comes to light. A witness or a piece of evidence that changes everything.
I guess that's always a possibility.
Even if that doesn't happen, though, what's important is that we remember Betty. She was more than just a name in a news article.
Right. She was a mother, a grandmother, a woman who loved her family, and, well, the snowball cookies, right?
And maybe, just maybe, someone listening right now remembers something. Something small, something they saw or heard. You never know what might help.
So if that's you, if anything at all comes to mind, please reach out. Even the smallest detail could be the key to bringing Betty home.
Exactly.
And with that, we'll be back next time with another deep dive. Until then, stay curious.